over the last 3 months. Probably sent out about 10 different proposals.
It would be super nice if you could just give us a short introduction of yourself, the company.
I'm Cyril Amer. I'm the managing partner with TrackTech Partners. We're an agency in Boston, Massachusetts that specializes in the travel and hospitality space, specializing in lead generation, web design, web development, and all things digital. We work with cruise lines, we work with tour operators, and we work with tourism boards for the most part.
So, we've been working together for a few months now. What have your results with cold outreach been like in this time?
So we've had a number of great conversations. We've had a number of metrics that we've been following on a week-by-week basis for the Ashay's team, including calls, conversations confirmed, conversations held, and proposals sent. And we've had, like I said, some great conversations with the folks that we've spoken to. Sent out a bunch of different proposals over the last 3 months. Probably sent out about 10 different proposals or 9 different proposals. Been as a follow-up to some good conversations and looking forward to seeing how they convert.
Fantastic. And in terms of, I know the no-show rates were around like a third, around 33% so far. How has the process been? Because, in the travel industry, a lot of the times they don't want to attend the calls on Zoom. They would usually ask you to call them. So how has coordinating all of this been? How's your experience been?
Coordination's been, very, very solid with the help of you and your team. 1 out of 3 probably didn't show up. That's just, I think, par for the course in terms of what people, they're busy. And I know you've tried to reschedule a number of calls, and to your point, a number of them have been rescheduled, 2-3 days later. Now that we've refined a little bit of the communications back and forth, we know that as soon as somebody doesn't show, to follow up with your team so that your team can follow up with them appropriately.
Perfect. And so, thinking back like 3 months ago when you were deciding whether or not to do this, what were your hesitations back then? Because, obviously you didn't know me back then when we were talking. So what were you kind of thinking at that time?
Well, I wasn't sure. I liked the conversations we were having, but obviously it all comes down to actually results and being able to make sure that we can have conversations that make sense with people that are actually interested and qualified and have a business need. And I wasn't sure how well people would respond to the cold calls once we spoke to them. And I must say, everybody I've talked to and gotten on the phone with was friendly, interested in what we had to say, and clearly had a business need. Some of them were too small, but that's also, something that we take as an additional learning for the next phase.
And just one final question. So if someone's watching this, they're also an agency and they're kind of on the fence whether or not to try Outbound or, just cold email, cold calls, what would be your advice to them? Things to look out for, whether or not to do it, who should do it, who should not do it?
I think it's definitely worth trying and worth doing it for agency owners that are looking to diversify their client base. A lot of agencies, as we do, have concentration in some big clients. So to try to diversify your client base, it's definitely worth having those dialogues and trying outbound calling and having these discussions with these entrepreneurs and business owners or VPs of marketing that are looking for help in outsourced marketing activities.
Absolutely. And would you recommend these agencies they work with us based on your experience, obviously?
Based on my experience, yes, you guys are straightforward. I like the approach. I think the candor and the business professionalism is there. And, clearly there's interest in having it work both ways. And there's been pretty good collaboration. Just look forward to seeing continued better results.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Cyril.